Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Jones, and if you're new here, welcome. I talk about all things movies, specifically Blu-rays, and today we are going to be talking about BFI's Sight and Sound poll that came out just last week, actually, when we're filming this and when this is coming up. So there's been a lot of things to digest, and I'm really excited to talk about this poll. Now, I'm going to share a lot of my thoughts actually together with a group of my friends, and I'll be posting a link to that video once that happens once that conversation happens. And that's where I'm going to get a lot of my thoughts on the initial poll in general. But today, I wanted to cover just briefly something that was really interesting to me, which was the director's top 100 lists. Now, today I just wanted to focus on the top 10 and just kind of share my thoughts on the list right here. And actually, there's 11 because there's some ties. But I'm going to share that with you. And then also, I want to talk about what everyone thinks about this list. I mean, I know lists are a little arbitrary and it's kind of all over the place. People have different opinions about it. But seeing critics and filmmakers kind of come together every 10 years for something like this is actually really exciting, really incredible. In my opinion, it kind of just breathes life into something, and it makes it more impactful when things like this happen. And I'm just floored by the announcements of all these things, and so I am going to start collecting all the films from these lists. I have most of them. I think out of the critics list, at least I know I have around 77, 78 of the films. So I have a little bit to collect, but I challenge you to watch as many of the films that you haven't seen yet on this list. I would love to see what your initial thoughts on those are. I'm excited because I'm going to talk about the number one pick in the top critics' choice today as well. I haven't seen that film, so we'll get there. Anyway, what about you? What do you think about this list? What do you think of the critics list? What do you think of the directors list? I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. So now that we're into that, let's jump into the top 10 list. We'll start off with number 11, 10, and 9. All right, so what was crazy is out of the filmmakers who voted for this thing, I believe there was 472 filmmakers who voted, and there was a three-way tie for numbers 11, 10, and 9. So in the list, how they kind of ranked them, I suppose, are as follows. So number 11 comes Abbas Kiarostami's Close Up, which I've talked about many times on the channel, and I absolutely adore this film. I believe it is one of the greatest films of all time, hence it's why it's this close to the top 10, I guess, is in the top 10 technically. But it is such a film that is an incredible film that I highly recommend anyone who has never seen this film to watch it and watch it again and again, because there's so many different things you can catch from this movie. And it's just an incredible blending of fiction and nonfiction, and Abbas Kiarostami 100% belongs on this list. Also alongside this was number 10, I suppose, is Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love right here. I actually have the Blu-ray right here. I don't have the new 4K, and I actually have the Wong Kar-wai box set that has this film in it as well. But man, I am just blown away by how far this movie went, at least in the critic choice. Like, it's in the top, I think, 4 or 5. I think that's where it was. But seeing this at such a high list as well on the director's choice is just a telling film. Wong Kar-wai did a phenomenal job on this film, and it came out at the turn of the century. It's an incredible film. It's one of the, I guess, newest films on the list, which is also quite a thing to talk about too, because you don't see too many new films in the last 20 years on this list. You see a few, but you don't see very many, and this is definitely one that is a big treat. And so yeah, watch this film if you haven't seen it. In the Mood for Love is a yearning romance. It's one that is incredible, and it's also really incredibly difficult to watch, but it just shows you that how human we are, right, and the situations we're in. So besides that, I want to talk about the other film that tied alongside this film, and also Close Up. This is the three-way tie, and that is Persona right here, Ingmar Bergman's Persona. I have this, and I also have that in the box set right there, but I've had this film for quite some time. I've actually only seen Persona once, and it was a long time ago, and I don't necessarily remember every element of this film, but this list excites me so much that I cannot wait to jump back into this film and kind of get a fresher perspective based on all the things that I've seen since this point in my life. And I just remember, the incredible leads in this film and just being blown away by the photography, the relationship aspect. There's a lot of things that are going for this film, and Persona is definitely one of the greatest films of all time. So Tying in at number 9, 10, and 11 are Persona, In the Mood for Love right here, and that's backwards right here, and Close Up. And yeah, these are incredible films, and I'm super happy to see them on this list. So there is numbers 11, 10, and 9. All right, so now we can talk about number 8. Number 8 on the list is a film that I've seen on many top 10 lists for a very, very long time, and I still have yet to see it. So this makes me even more excited to see this on the list. And I'm talking about Andrei Tarkovsky's Mir right here. I almost had this upside down, but the funny thing is this film kind of faced upside down in a way. But I've heard, like I said, such incredible things about this film. I know that my friend Sam, film blogger Sam, this is one of his favorite films of all time. So he's super happy that this film is on the list, and it's very high up in the critics list as well. But man, Andrei Tarkovsky, I've only seen one film from this filmmaker, but it stuck with me, and that's Andrei Rublev. And that film has stuck to me to this day. I love it. I have the poster in my movie room over there. But yeah, I cannot wait to watch Mir and watch it like multiple times, because I've heard it's an incredibly daunting experience, but at the same time one that is going to invite a lot of creativity coming from, you know, the filmmaker and then also the viewer ourselves. So number 8, Mir, great choice. All right, so another tie at 6 and 7 are two films, one from a British director and one from an Italian director. Let's talk about the first one in the number, I guess, 7 spot here, even though this is also tied for number 6. Talking about Federico Fellini's 8.5. Now, of course, this is going to be in the director's top 10 list. This is a director's film, right? This is a film about filmmaking and the whole process of making a film, the ups and downs, and all the things in between, and all the people involved as well, and kind of the psyche of the filmmaker and the people like that. So I've actually only explored this film once, just like with Persona. It's been some time since I've seen this film, but so I'm so excited to see it once again. This is also in the Fellini box set that exists as well, that I also have, but I'm excited to watch this again and get some more fresh perspectives here with this one. But 8.5, really great choice. And then alongside it at number 6, at the same spot, is within this collection right here, is Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo, which many people will know. In 2012, when the last time this poll came out, number 1 pick was Vertigo for the Critics' Choice. And seeing Vertigo on this list again obviously solidifies its fact that it's going to be stated in filmography. And Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo is just an insatiably amazing film. And you just love every second of it. And there's so many great twists and turns and such great acting, such great camera work, such craft, I guess, is really what you're seeing here. And there's a reason Hitchcock is so big on all these lists, right? And Vertigo is definitely the film that showcases that. So that is number 6 and 7 at a tie. All right, so now we're going to talk about the last tie on the list, and it is actually the number 1 film from the critics, and alongside another film that's number 2, I believe, or number 3. Or 4. I need the list in front of me, but it's up there. Both of these films are up there. The first one I'm going to talk about is the one that has been getting all the buzz, and that is Jeanne Dielman right here, directed by Chantal Akerman. I have not seen this film, but now knowing that this is the number 1 choice from the critics poll is amazing. What a leap! I think this jumped like 20 or 30 spaces ish, something like that. And that's just incredible to see something like this. And I've heard nothing but incredible things about this film. It's a very harrowing film from what I've heard. And seeing Chantal Akerman here is amazing. So I'm very, very curious and excited. And I'm happy to see this on the director's list as well. This is, like I said, sharing a spot with the other film I want to talk about. And that is Yasujiro Ozu's Tokyo Story right here. Now, this is a classic film from 1953 and is an incredibly warm and humbling film about a family and how they interact with each other in post-World War II Japan. This is a very, very exciting film, at least in the sense that it's very simple, right? But that simplicity makes it that much more touching. And I think that's the reason why both this film and Jeanne Dielman right here are on this list. So yeah, let's now talk about the top 3. All right, number 3 on the list for the director's poll is The Godfather, the classic film, American Italian film right here, The Godfather. This is the 4K I have here. Of course, The Godfather is one of the greatest films of all time. It's always been kind of structured as that in the in the zeitgeist of the culture, especially in America. It's just such an incredible film. This alongside its sequel and Godfather 2, which I actually prefer just a little bit more than Godfather, but I completely understand why Godfather is here. It's an incredible film, and I mean it's a classic for every bit of reason why it's here. And so if you haven't seen The Godfather, what are you doing? This is like one of the most essential films. Like, even if you might be a little bit more daunted to the art house side of things, watch this one. Like, seriously, it's incredible. It's an incredible film. It's an incredible story, and I'm super excited that they released this amazing box set with all 3 films in it. And yeah, it's definitely worth picking up sometime. Check it out. All right, sliding to number 2 is considered to be the greatest film of all time from a lot of people, and that is Citizen Kane right here. This is the Criterion 4K edition of it. This film was the number 1 spot from the Sight and Sound poll for years and years and years. So seeing this at number 2 is no surprise whatsoever. Seeing this in the list is no surprise whatsoever. Orson Welles just does an incredible job with this as Kane himself and as the director. There's not a movie like it, and that's what makes it so special. And the films that this would come out subsequently since then that influenced a lot of the things that this film kind of started off is just really, really fun to see. And as a director, I'm sure that's where a lot of people would see its merit, right? And so Citizen Kane, once again, at the number 2 spot. So what could beat the number 1 film of all time? Well, a film that really just expands the mind, and that is Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. This is the number 1 spot in the director's poll right here, and I completely understand why. This movie is groundbreaking. It's visionary. It's breathtaking. It's just a film that it attacks all the senses, and it just invites you to be both warm and cold to the whole experience. And I think that's the reason why 2001: A Space Odyssey is such a important film, and the reason why it's number 1 on this director's list is just it's just amazing. So anyway, I want to kind of transition here and ask you, what do you think about this list? What do you think about the top 10, 11-ish list from the director's poll? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Like I said, I'm going to start collecting these films. I'm going to start watching them, rewatching them over and over again. And then I'm going to have a really good conversation about the critics poll with some friends here very, very soon. So stick around, and thank you so much for watching. Comment down below, share, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.